It's the cheapest Focus ST in the UK. If not, it is now.
The one with the low compression.
Good.
No head. What, are you going to give me head?
Dirty, innit? Hello and welcome. Not to me though. To this over here. Now what we're calling this is the cheapest Focus ST in the UK. Our friend, who is very clever, thought it'd be a brilliant idea to buy a Focus ST for a daily. We should add that he did look at the normal suspects such as Fabio VRS. Pretty much anything with a PD 130 in it, or a 150, because Cooper's got 150 in it. Yeah. So, and somehow we ended up with a 2.5 litre 5-cylinder Focus ST. Which there's a reason why we're calling it the cheapest Focus ST in the UK.
Whoa, Tiger! No, I want that one.
No, that's TDC anyway.
Yeah, that's number one.
You need to move. Yeah, but look at the top of the cylinders, mate.
Mate, you be a
Mate, there's so much crap on the top of those pistons. So what's that? Cylinder 3?
Yeah.
Which was?
The one with the low compression.
Good. Oh.
They've got pictures anyway.
What's cylinder 5 look like then?
Ooh.
I think they're cylinder 5's the best one out of the lot, I think.
We need to work out what that is. We need to work out whether that's fuel or oil.
It's not oil because it's too clear to be oil.
I think regardless, mate,
What's too clear?
But you can see straight through the liquid onto the piston.
So no head?
No head. What, are you going to give me head?
No, mate, I was making that fucking reference. You know that guy that's like stood on the side of the road with his skateboard and he's like on the phone to someone, he's like, oh, so no head? And then just fucking snaps his skateboard.
Yeah,
Throws his phone and snaps his
You can see
skateboard.
straight through onto top of the piston. So if that was oil, you wouldn't see it, would you? It's too clear to be oil.
That's pink, mate, look at it.
Yes, I'm just saying, that's too clear to be oil. So it's not oil.
That's cooler than oil.
Fuck.
Mate, your liners are gone. Goodbye.
Really haven't.
Yeah, that's kind of the state of the engine, really. 3 cylinders full of water. Now we should add that it did drive here, and when I mean drive, it was obnoxious, like every other Focus ST is. So this can only go one of two ways, really. We're either going to fix it and he will drive it and enjoy his new daily,
Blow it up again.
or it'll get blown up again.
It'll be one after the other. It's Nathan.
One or the other. Yeah, so you can come with us on this journey of finding out what is wrong with this. It's apparently had a block mod done already, but I have also experienced Focus STs that have had block mods done and head gaskets have gone a year after they've been done. So, I don't know. Come along for the party, I suppose. It's going to be a fun one, just as soon as we can get it inside here. As you can see, whoever stripped this down and done the head gasket on it before has
Respectful builds. Respectful builds.
What, you mean like... Yeah, but he didn't respect the threads though, did he? Like, what happened to that? The camera won't even focus on it. Like, yeah, pretty much all the... Luckily, it's only the spark plug cover bolts. So, I guess there's a video in that and how to fix
Don't need them, mate.
threads. But let's get the cam cover off.
Oh.
Oh. What have you just broke? First things first, unbolting the rocker cover, cracking them all off, going over them with a ratchet, and then quickly buzzing them off with the gun. Archie's working down the right hand side to undo with the wiring loom, untuck it, get the ECU out of the way and everything tucked to the right hand side of the engine. He's then going along and cracking off the inlet manifold bolts and trying to undo a fuel pipe. Inlet manifolds off. Having a little look around to see what's going on. And Nathan's trying not to break up his scuttle panel. What? Next up, gun the engine mount bolts off, 4 of them off, take the mount off so then we can drop the engine to get the water pump off, tensioner off, and then slackers off the cam belt to remove the cams.
Nice.
Next up, camshafts out, intake, and the exhaust.
That was the year the only got us chocolate for Christmas.
So we've got to take the head off now. Everything else is off. For some reason they're 14 mils, which is not very Ford size. Although it could be because they're replacement head bolts, because it has had a head before. Yeah. Naif's crying in the corner. You're struggling there, mate. Dirty, innit? But why is there sealant there? What is that? Yeah, that's sealant. Interesting.
This is what happens when you have a shit.
Okay, so this is where we're at so far. Top of the block is clean. Just a few more places that we've got to finish off. Scotch-Brite at the top of the piston heads, just to get some of that carbon build-up off. I think that is mainly down to the mapping, just because of the pure amount of flames that this thing chucked out the arse of it. So there's that. We've also turned over the engine and just checked the inside of the liners. We are fairly confident that there is no crack liners in there. With water residue being in all 3 of them and all 3 of them being low on compression, I'd see it as very unlucky that 3 liners have broke. So we're very happy that it's going to be head gasket, which makes this UK's cheapest Ford Focus a little bit more cheaper. Now, the head has been taken off to K&B Engineering to get skimmed and pressure tested. Pressure testing is going to tell us that the valves are seating correctly, that there's no valve leakage or anything like that. Either they are going to relap the valves or we're going to do them, but we've also got new stem seals to go in. So play it by ear to see what happens. We dropped it off to him Thursday. So we were hoping for a phone call Friday. We haven't had a phone call yet. So whether that's because the machine's not set up, it's not been done, or what, we don't know. We're going by no news is good news at this point. For some reason, the water pump was covered in sealant. Not really ideal. What do you want around a water pump? There was a paper gasket underneath it as well. So we're kind of putting it down to that maybe it's had a cam back done before, and then they've just reused the water pump. Or it had a cam back done, and then they reused the cam belt and reused the water pump when the head was taken off last time and the block mod was done. That we can only make guesses at, and I'm not here to call into question anybody else's work. So we're a week on, aren't we?
Oh, mate, dragging.
No, we're a week and a half on. We dropped the head off Thursday, and it's Tuesday the following week. So we're still waiting. A little update on that. It got pressure checked. Way up. We don't know if the head's been skimmed yet, but it got pressure checked and it failed. And he's suspecting that it's inlet valves and that they're all coked up, like you've seen on the top of the pistons, covered in crap. So the last we heard, it was sat in a chemical bath being cleaned, and we're yet to hear anything so far. So it's quite sad, but fear not, I've got something mildly interesting to do, and I also realised that in the last video I didn't really sum up how much Nathan, I keep saying we here, but I didn't think I'm stupid enough.
Me neither, really.
I don't know, I do want to buy a broken Golf.
Oh, I say no, I own a Land Rover.
You got a Land Rover as well. We're all thick as I'm going to do a little roundup of how much it costs, the mileage, and just the small details and what Nathan has spent up until this point. It could be interesting or it could be really awful, who knows. It's just come with me to fix the rocker cover, price roundup, show you how the engine's looking now that we've spent some time giving it a polish, and it's alright, isn't it?
Maybe.
Come with us, why not? Okay, so this is the cam cover. I keep calling it a rocker cover because that's what I'm used to. I'm used to rocker covers. This is a cam cover simply because it holds the cams. Rocker covers are more old school, where it's got a rocker and a piston.
You could say it covers them.
It covers the rocker arms. This covers the cam arms, cam shafts, cam arms. We're so professional. Anyway, right. If you remember in the very first video, the only other video that's on the channel, the guy did not respect the threads. Now, Arch, come and have a look at this, mate, because this is just terrible. Now, that's it. Smash the camera. Yeah, basically, if you can see, the threads have been pulled in all of these.
Pull-out game strong.
Well, yeah. Lack of respect and pull-out game being very weak. So what we are going to do is use this to fix that.
Big up.
Now, if you've not seen one of these before, this is a helicoil kit. Full kit, you get a drill bit, the new size tap, and then the bits to put the helicoils in, but you will see how that is done in this video. What we've got to do is, how a helicoil works is it drills a bigger hole to what's already in there. So these are M6 threads, which means that they're 6mm in diameter. I think, don't quote me on this, I don't know what this drill is going to be. It'll probably drill it out to something like 7.5mm to equate for the threads. Thread inserts, bigger drill. It's all in the kit. Now, it's not exactly cheap. It is £26.49 I think I paid for this kit, but I love my mates. So you got to treat them every now and again, ain't you? Okay, so we didn't turn the mic on, so you're going to have a little voiceover. So I'm drilling the holes out. 7.5mm, somewhere around there. Bit of WD-40 on there, just so the drill go through. Starting the tap, the first couple of threads are always a pain. Make sure you keep it perpendicular to the hole that you're doing it. Make sure it goes all in square. A bit of copper grease on the tap just to help it cut through and keeping it lubed as it goes in. Forwards and backwards, bringing it back and forth, just cleans the tap out, makes it a bit easier. And then winding in the new threads, tabs on the little thread, and then you put the tool in, twist it around as if you were putting a bolt in, wait for it to bottom out, get all of them in, and then go along with a punch and just knock the tabs off. Right, we don't have a whiteboard, unfortunately the budget won't stretch that far, so we've got a Focus ST window, which, imagine that broke down, which would be quite a bad situation. So I'm just going to tell you how much our clown friend has spent on this Focus so far. So he bought the car for a grand total of £900. Now, it was a fully running and driving car with 134, was it? 134,000 miles on it. That's what we're going with, okay? £900. It did drive fine. Well, I say it drove fine. It threw too much out the exhaust. Is it too much to put another clip in of it flaming?
Maybe.
Nah, we'll put it in anyway. And when Nathan went to look at it originally, when it got shut off, it started misfiring, obviously didn't want it, and the guy compression checked it down on 3 cylinders, and that's how we've ended up here. So, head gasket, £219.99. Okay, the next thing he's bought is a genuine Ford cam-out kit with a water pump. That was a grand total of £234.99. So that's for the parts that we need to get this thing back together. I'm going to consult a calculator because my mental maths is not as good as it once was. That brings the total so far to £1,354.98. It's like being on countdown, this, isn't it? So that is how much you spent so far. Obviously, a heads off being skimmed. I think skimming was 40 quid. Was it 40 quid? Or was that pressure tested? No, skimming was £70. Pressure test originally was around £40. But obviously it's failed that. He's putting the stem cells on for us. So realistically, I'm not going to put that on then so far. I reckon we'll be around the £1,600 mark. Which even so, when you think about it, for a car that's had a brand new head gasket cam out and all that sort of thing, still quite cheap. Okay, so this is the state of the block. We've cleaned it up, frankly, as best we can. There's still some stubborn bits on there, but it shouldn't really affect it. Without machining the top of the block, which is very fine tolerances, because then you start messing around with compression ratios and all of that. I know you can do it at 0.01 of a thou or whatever the increments are. We're not going to do that because this is a cheap budget build. We also had a poke around in the turbo.
Yesterday she was a virgin, now her body counts on one like Hardy. I should call her.
So basically what we're trying to achieve here with an endoscope is, because of the way that the turbo's made, the intake housing here has got an elbow, a cast elbow up. Cheers mate, that's my ear. So you can't see if there's any play in the turbo. We don't particularly want to take the exhaust side off, which I think we're going to end up doing. And even then it's a bit far in to just try and check for play. From this, it's really hard to tell. Obviously, we can't check for play. We can only really see if there's any score marks.
Hang on, mate. Let me get my Peter Dinklage fingers down.
We can only check, really, if there's score markings on the housing of the turbo, which will tell you if the bearing is oscillating or something like that.
So, Nath doesn't want to buy a PCV valve because Nath's a cheap ass. So we're going to try and clean it out because he says we can do that and it'll be fine.
It probably won't be fine.
No, it won't be fine.
Basically, Focus STs have got a, is it penchant? Is that the right word? It's a French word, but they've got this thing where it's a common fault for the filter housings to go and the diaphragms within the filter housings go. That is lovely.
We will in a sec.
Cheap Focus, isn't it?
We will in a sec.
Oh, you...
Oh, that's got everywhere.
That's proper like chicken.
That's some Kyle's jacket. Probably in the boot. Okay, so that is as far as we can go today. As I said, we're waiting on the head to come back. Appreciate it's a bit of a slow video compared to last week, but I just wanted to get something out that was, well, let's face it, probably quite mid content, but something somewhat informative. A lot of the people from last week were saying that they liked the informative sections, so there you go. If you mess your helicores up, it's not my fault. It's a bit long and drawn out now, isn't it? Ah. Oh yeah, it's quite bad, isn't it? Anyway, we finally got the head back. Now there's a bit of a story behind this. It wasn't as straightforward as just lapping the valves in, skimming it. It's turned out to be quite a costly adventure, really, hasn't it?
Well, not for me or you.
Not for me or you, no. what they've said to us is that the valve seats had to get reground because, as you can see from said flaming videos, the fuel had actually eaten away the valve seats. So it wasn't just a case of skim the head, lap the valves, and away you go. It was needed a fair bit more work. That is probably why it was misfiring, why it was down on compression, potentially why the head gasket went again. If it got too hot or something like that. But it is all nice now, fresh looking. It's had new stem seals put in it, and to be honest, it's been chemically bathed, so it looks brand new. But I mean, we could have cleaned the exhaust the exhaust gasket side up. But yeah, today's mission is to get this in there. So I say today, tonight, and some other nights as well.
It looks like it's been chopped off. Like, feel the edge of that.
Yeah, that's probably snapped and that's been repiped.
Like you, mate.
The pipe between the thermostat and there's like a T-piece is very common for collapsing. Now, this shouldn't be ballooned like this. It's also gone very soft. So what's happened over time, the rubber's probably degraded, delaminated, whatever, and then it blows up like this. And then ends up bursting. Again, another common thing that it seems to be with the STs. So our good friend Archie here is trying to now fit that.
Well, I just want to see if it fits, and then I'll chop out a bit of it.
Boil the water. Put it in some boiling water. Did it fit on the other side?
Just. If I boiled a kettle. Are you going to add that to the...
I will add that to the whiteboard, yeah. Do you know what? In fact, we'll do that right now. Back to our Focus ST whiteboard. Got some consumables to add on here. Oil filter, oil. We've decided to get deionized water and do it properly. Antifreeze, filter, oil, all that good stuff. So that comes to £64.01. Next, the expensive section. Head refurb. Now, a fair amount of work, as I've already said, has gone into this. And that came to, hold your hats kids, because it's about to get rocky, £680. Yeah. Still a cheap car, it's just not what we was expecting. Now, when people say maps and a lot of excessive fuel can burn out your valves, take this £680 lesson from it. So that now brings us to a grand total of, let me get a calculator. Grand total of £2,098.99. Now, one thing I can probably guarantee is that if you went on Facebook Marketplace, eBay, anywhere like that, and tried to find an ST3 with that sort of mileage, fresh head gasket, fresh recon head, it wouldn't quite cost that much. Obviously, when we went and got the car, we equate for the worst being an engine, which would be a grand, somewhere around there. And we wouldn't know to this extent what's been done to it. So as I said in the previous video, it's still a cheap car, given that it's now got a fresh head gasket, it's going to have a fresh cam out on it, and a refurbed head. Yeah, I mean, you could have spent another £400 to £500 and got a port and polished head, but I feel like Nathan doesn't need that encouragement to go and too crazy with it. So £2,098.99 is still kind of cheap for realistically a 250, 300 horsepower daily. So, bit of a blow, but there we go. Slow, 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 slow. Right, that's very top. That is top. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you watch it time up on like 15 minutes before TDC.
Yeah.
We'll double check before we put it in, but just try not to hit the dowels. Hang on, 'cause I've got... Oh yes, the little studs. I've missed it this side. In. Oh,
That made a nice noise.
that was a nice noise, right? Look at that. Right, let's go home. That counts as lightly oil in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is the crucial step now.
Lightly oiled was Nathan Valentine's Day when I got home.
When you got home?
Yeah,
Which one was on more oiled? You or Nate?
mate, it got to the point where you couldn't tell what was oil and what was other stuff.
Just put in. So what we're doing is, as per the instructions, lightly oiling the threads and the contact patches. This is simply so when you screw it in, bolt it down, the bolt is still able to turn, and it's not, when you're torquing it, it's not the twist in the bolt, and also, well, yeah, so it doesn't grip up and then potentially snap the bolt. Bit of oil on the threads, bit of oil on the head, shanks, and away we go.
Speak for me.
Who was?
Victor. Bit of a career change, wasn't it?
From stealing the moon to
Making head gaskets.
making head gaskets and gaskets and all
Mate,
that.
wherever the money is, fair play.
You've got to chase it. Chase that bag, boys.
Okay, talking ahead, 3-stage torque in the specified pattern that comes in the kit. 20 Newton meters is first stage. Paint marking them as we go so we know where we're at. Second stage, 60 Newton meters. Again in the same pattern. Third stage, 130 degrees. You can roughly work it out by doing 90 and then 45, but we just broke out the digital torque wrench. Light goes green and the torque wrench vibrates as soon as the torque's been hit. Nice and easy. Now for this part, we got a micrometer out to measure the gap on the bucket, just because we know we're probably going to have valve clearance issues, so then we can swap buckets around. Yes, you're not supposed to because they've wanted a valve, but trying to save a bit of money.
Right, Nathan spent a load of money on this tool. I'm not going to add it to the list because that's just unfair. But what we've got here, this is how you check the cams. Valve clearances. Basically, we've got to use this tool, take all the buckets out and put 2 in at a time for the ones that we're checking the valve clearances on. Chuck the cam in, bolt that over it. You've got to take all the other buckets out so that you don't put uneven pressure on the camshaft and snap it. So then we can get the valve clearances there or thereabouts. Obviously, because of the work that the heads had done, we want it about right. And we don't know to what extent they've been ground down. So hopefully, they're not too far removed, but that is why we've got a list of measurements of each bucket so that we can sit and play with it and hopefully save a little bit of time.
Okay, so bolt the backing plate down, roll the camshaft so the lobes are resting up against it, then get the black camshaft holding tool, bolt it down. Don't have to be too tight, it's only holding the camshaft in, there's no pressure against it. Then just double check the backing plate bolts. You want a feeler gauge, you want to slide it in between the cam lobe and the bucket, and you want it to grab ever so slightly. Anybody who wants to know their tolerances, they'll be in the description. Luckily, with changing only a couple of buckets around, we managed to get it where it needed to be. Camshaft's going in. First, the exhaust. Nathan's just finishing up torquing the water pump while I'm doing the camshafts in. Bit of oil over where the cam shells as such are. Then off camera we put more oil over the top half, filled up part of the VVT and the oil returns, just to make sure that everything, when it first starts up, runs nice and smooth. Cam cover, nice bead of silicone around it, only on the outer, not too much because you don't want it blocking up any oil lines. Placing it in nicely, waiting for it to seat. Then going over all of the bolts in, again, the correct pattern, just so that you don't put uneven pressure on the camshafts and snap the camshafts. Going around torquing them, paint marking them as we go. There's 46 bolts on the cam cover, so it's quite easy to lose where you are. Cam out time. You're supposed to install it anti-clockwise. We tried doing it anti-clockwise, and it did take us a few attempts to get it on right. Putting the cover on just to check our timing marks line up. Put a bit of paint marker on the camshafts and on the cover just so you can see it, makes it a bit easier. And then one on the crankshaft as well. Turn the crank over twice. 2 turns of the crankshaft is 1 revolution of the camshaft. Bolting up the inlet manifold. Bit of a nightmare trying to get on the gasket, but managed to get it in. There are 2 little cutouts on the bottom of the inlet manifold that you can just slot it on. Engine mount, gun them up, check them with the ratchet, and then throw some oil in.
Oh my god. Is the ignition on?
Oh mate, I'm shit pants. Fucking dick.
You gotta be some sort of cunt. Ready? Stand back.
Sounds right now.
Doesn't sound bad.
Should we send it? I don't want this. This is going to be loud as well.
Look at Kyle, mate. He don't care, does he?
Nah. It's not my car.
1, 2, 3.
Come on, girl.
Have you got petrol?
Come on. Nice. Yes.
Run any longer then?
Probably pick
Because it's got no
every other night. It'll be fucking boring.
We're starting off with addressing a couple of issues. Now, we did have a comment regarding what sealant we used on the cam cover. As soon as we put the cam cover on, I got a message. Well, as soon as the video went out, I got a message saying, did you use anaerobic sealant? Guess what? No, we didn't. We just used standard black gasket sealant, and we thought if we put a very small bead around the cam cover and around the galleries, it'd be fine. Then we decided that we've done all of this work and spent all this money that it'd be absolutely pointless testing the theory. So we took it all back off and used this stuff. Now, yes, it is Volkswagen sealant. On a Ford, I'm told it's exactly the same. The only difference is that it's green and not red. So that's the first bit. That is now fitted. Cam covers on. To be fair, when we ran it, even after running it for that little amount of time, there was bits of silicone around where the VVT galleries are. So forget that I ever said we use some sealant around the cam cover. If you're putting a cam cover on a Focus ST, please use anaerobic sealant. Don't ask me why. even when Nathan took it for mapping, we got asked the same thing, did you use anaerobic sealant? And at that time we could say yes, because obviously we literally, after the video of starting it up, we stripped it all back again and redone the cam cover, redone the timing, all of that good stuff, and followed what they told us to. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you're going to have to bear with how choppy this video is, because obviously it goes from that to then, where does it go to? It goes from that then to pre-mapping. Nathan broke the bonnet latch. You'll see when you get into the video, just bear with us. It's still a good video, it's just a bit over the place. So.
Yeah, really well. He's eating the last one from me. Way down, Nathan's way. Come here, come back the way then. And you got to put the cover on. You got to put the cover on.
You're forgetting a bit, Nate.
That needs to come back off. Why? Put that cover on. That cover doesn't need to go on.
It does.
Why?
Just put it on, mate.
Oh,
I got it on there.
I know. Well, I may as well just leave it, run it for a week, and then compression test it next week and leave it all off. Yeah, but it's all the water and the shit when we get in there. That's why this is there.
What's this? Oh, beautiful, isn't it? Look at this. Looks like an engine again. Why is that not on yet? What have you done? Oh no! You don't have to squeeze them that hard.
Can you break it?
Nah, he's locked the locks on, so now he's going to snap the end of the coolant bottle off now. You're doing it wrong. Oh! Probably wouldn't have done it like that. Probably would have snapped it. Man, what are you doing? You
fucking move it over a little bit, alright?
You're an animal, mate.
Just leave it where it is.
It's not broken yet. You're about to break it. The same way as it was fine before you started pissing around with it.
You've missed a bolt on the No, shut up.
Is there any wee bolts left?
Did something then. Now, before you fucking went too far, it was doing something. Oh, there. Wait. Okay, get it back to where you was. Still smells new, boy. Mate, whatever you're hitting isn't working. In the videos. That's quite good off there. No. No, just this back here. I'm gonna pull that out. Don't do that. This is what happens when you snap the bonnet cable. I should have replaced it. Oh! Should have replaced it when we said you to. Oh dear. Yeah, look at that. Where's the end now? In there. Right there. There's bits coming out of your bonnet. Oh?
Halfway there.
Yes, now you've got to go the other way.
Yeah, I know.
Way!
Fuck off, innit? Get off myself, off myself, off myself, off myself.
Well done, mate. Did it yourself. Look at that, there's no leaks or nothing. That looks brand new, that. Your coolant bottle's full of shit.
Why has it done that?
Probably because we didn't clean the PCV out. At least there's water. Oh, water pump works. Yeah. What's the cap like? That's cleared out.
Not that bad.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why we give it another oil change soon then, isn't it? At least we can get into it now. Starting off, I'm bolting the latch, 210 mils. Latch comes off, make sure you undo the plug, and then there's 2 little tabs holding the rest of the cabling. Pop them off, and out goes what remains of the cable. There's this little white cross in the latch, that's the bit that normally snaps. Take that out, because the new one's got one built into it. Clip it in. What should you pay for this?
50 quid.
20 quid?
Proper bargain.
Bolt it all back up, and as the Haynes manual says, do the reverse. We did have to make a minor modification to the latch. There's a little ball that the arm clips to. We had to take that out and turn it 180 degrees so that the latch and the key would actually fit in the locator properly. You're going to put the key into it, it's going to fall in. Wow. Well done, mate. Good work. That's it. Hang on. Ow! Okay, that'll do it. Oh yeah, that's lovely, that isn't it? Right, shut the bonnet and see if it works. Huh?
Don't like that bit.
Why?
Do that screw up.
You're a professional at doing it now. You should be able to do loads of stuff.
It's the way he slams it. That's what happened to the pen.
And I get moaned at for hitting the window.
Bang. Don't slam it so hard.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Please don't
Oh
slam.
yeah.
Do the screw up. Oh fucking hell, yes, wait.
So how much does this car cost you now?
Too much.
2,200. No, 2,118 pounds. Huh?
250 for remat.
Oh yeah. What's going on with the map, Nate?
It cost me 250 notes.
250 notes.
Yeah.
Who's doing it? So many comments about people who's asking you about mapping.
Matt Lewis Motorsport.
What are you doing?
Fixing.
That's going to fix all your problems, is it? Mate, you need to replace this.
Yes, but I ain't got that now, have I? It's fuck, it was pissing out of there just then, so.
So where's it split then? Oh, that. Oh no, mate. Focus. So what? He reckons it's going to split there. Can't even see it. What we done then, Nath?
Fixing shit, more shit, more money.
More money. Well, that wasn't money. So coolant pipe cut off because it was leaking. New boost pipe. So apparently it was about to leak or something. It looks all nice and fresh in there now, doesn't it? Apparently you're supposed to move the plenum, take the plenum off, be able to fit it, but
Suck my balls.
our mate Nath took the headlight out and done it that way. So it worked better, didn't it?
Mechanic. What do you want to know?
What happened? Why is it standard?
I didn't want to map it because that coolant pipe was split. There's some bodgery going on over here.
These lines that we told you to replace.
Yeah, boost pipe was split. So I put a new one on them on. Oil filter housing possibly leaking, not too sure, I'll have to clean it off. Whoever mapped it last, mapped it like an idiot. They didn't want to go risk of mapping it and it blowing up down the road, so they put a standard map back on it. So it's now safe to drive, it's not done for fuel at the back. Yeah. Got to put some new coolant pipes on it, put a new boost pipe on it, and then send it back up there to get out stage 2. That's about it really.
So that's the video. which now does mean that there is going to be another video on the Ford still to come. Obviously Nathan took it, I can hear all the sighs. Obviously Nathan took it to mapping, as he said, and they weren't happy mapping it up to stage 2 because of the coolant pipe. I didn't understand whether they said that the boost hose was leaking or it was about to leak or whatever. They just weren't happy with doing it with that. I think the main thing was the coolant hose and the PCV oil filter housing leaking oil. Me and Archie did clean that off, but then obviously where the cam cover came off again, I think that's just residue from that. So yeah, all they'd done was he paid £40 and they mapped it back to standard. To be fair to them, Matt Lewis Motorsport, he did turn around to them and say, we could have taken your money, we could have taken 250 quid and mapped it, but instead they were good to us, put it back to standard, so that it runs a lot better now. It's not dumping as much fuel. I think he's gone from 17 mpg to 35 or something around there. It's a lot better, so that we can address all the issues, go back up there, and then they'll put stage 2 on it. Lovely old job. That's it. That's it for now, for the Focus. Stay tuned for the Meg videos and the BMW, which will all be coming very soon. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Again, thank you very much for the comments, the reactions, the support from all the other videos. Hit the bell notification button so that you know when all the other good things are coming.